thing!
Welcome to the College Football Preview Show. Happy ESPN App Day to all who celebrate as well. The long-awaited, highly anticipated 2025 college football season has arrived. In earnest kicks off this weekend, which means the boys of fall are back in college football towns across America. And the Three Stooges are back in studio for you. Former NFL QB Matt Sims, SportsCenter's very own Skubie Mageza.
Yeah.
I am merely Sam Ravech.
That's something they can say about me.
That's
Big
right.
offseason, baby.
Big offseason. A lot of changes
man.
in the offseason. I actually had a daughter. My wife and I had our first daughter. Skubie made a SportsCenter debut. And Matt just keeps getting better looking, I guess.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
give you
man.
something good. But it has been a long offseason. There's been a lot of talk going on. College football playoff formats. Like, it's finally, we can talk ball. Like, that's what we want to talk about, right?
Well, I think that's the most difficult thing about college football, right? It's a lot of speculation. We don't really know exactly what's going on.
We pretend like
right?
we do.
We pretend like we know. And then the season starts and we know, right? What do I always say? We have no idea what the hell is going on, right?
exactly
And that's
right.
what makes
The
college
only
football
thing that
great.
we know is that we know absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And, all the camp buzz, everything that people just talked about, it's going to be quiet. As soon as those pads start hitting on week one, I can't wait for it.
Been a long offseason since Ohio State hoisted the national championship trophy back in January. So if you are in need of a primer before things do kick off in Dublin, Ireland, we have got you covered. We got quarterback talk. This is going to be a big top 5 kind of show. We're going to do a lot of lists as well. We're going to talk through all the week 1 matchups that you have to be tuned into. But let's start with the top 3 storylines going into the 2025 season. And there's nowhere else that you can start, really, besides the Big Ten versus the SEC. I mean, the competition off the field to become the best on the field has really become the game's biggest rivalry in a lot of different aspects. The Big Ten, obviously, as you know, has won each of the last 2 national championships. They kind of flexed on the SEC over the last 2 college football playoffs. Word on the street, guys, Penn State's pretty good this year up in Happy Valley, and James Franklin trying to follow in the footsteps of the likes of Michigan and Ohio State. So the question to you, Scoob, I'll ask you, has the balance of power in college football truly shifted north?
Be careful how you answer this.
Or is the SEC just reloading for another great year?
Nah, I think everything has definitely evened out and we can thank NIL and the transfer portal for that, because what we used to see a lot is these SEC teams have 5 stars as the second and third string.
Right.
But things have changed now where kids don't have to necessarily wait as long because other schools can throw playing time and money at them. So now you get those opportunities to have a 5-star kid come in and get playing time early. And these SEC teams aren't as deep as they used to be, which I believe has ultimately balanced out the college football field when everyone went to the SEC.
There's not a lot of separation, Matty, right? I mean, we pretend like we know what we're talking about going into the season, but in reality, this has been the closest AP poll in the preseason since like 1998. So things are really close.
Things are really close, and it's for the betterment of football, right? It's no longer a regional sport, right, where just one area, right, just completely dominates the other. Now we are getting into the fact of, listen, if you have good coaching, if you can recruit good players, if you can retain good football players, and ultimately, again, if you can develop young football players, especially the quarterback position, right, or be very effective in the transfer portal, you can go from being an average middle-of-the-road football team to then actually contending for a national title and being in that playoff contention. And we're going to talk about a few teams today that fall under that category.
I'm glad you said the word retain, because that leads us to our next top storyline, which is, in this new era of college football, there have been different philosophies with which programs take to build their roster. There are the portal king sort of teams. Lane Kiffin obviously comes to mind at Ole Miss, LSU, Brian Kelly, the #1 transfer portal class, and Texas Tech getting in the fold, dropping a whole huge ton of money, bringing in like 30, 40-plus players. Then you have the retainers. You have the Clemsons of the world, Dabo Swinney. I think they brought in like a surplus of 4 players from the transfer portal this year. I would throw Georgia and Kirby in that mix, Ohio State somewhat, and Penn State, I think, is a retainer as well. So, Matty, which approach is more sustainable in the long run, you think?
You know, it really is a year-to-year thing, right? And we got to look at these football programs almost as just like they're Fortune 500 companies, right? Certain years you're going to be selling out, and you're going to go and do everything you can in the portal to regroup your entire football team. Then there's like, hey, what we're doing is really working well. We're recruiting extremely well, and we have great depth, right? And now we just need to add a key piece here or there.
Yeah.
Penn State's a great example. They're a really well-built football team at every single level, right? They add Trebor Pena, right, to it because he is a consistent pass catcher, and they need someone consistent over the middle for Drew Allar to go along with the two guys that have already been on their roster, right, and Singleton and Katron Allen.
Yep.
So you can see just the differences. Like the notable transfer here, just John Mateer. Really looking forward to see that. Nico made the list, right? Even though I made a small adjustment to that one. Fernando Mendoza, really excited to see him. Kurt Signetti, right, in Indiana Hoosiers. I think they got a really good quarterback. Can't wait to see him. Hey, Florida State, that was another situation that we had last year. They sold out in the NIL, and the transfer portal did not work out well for them. Let's see if Tommy Castellanos can figure this out. Mekhi Hughes to Oregon, huge one right there. Zachariah Branch there
I love that
to
one.
Georgia.
That's one of my favorite ones.
I knew you'd like that one. You know what sneaky one here on this list that I think is super important? Eric Singleton Jr. Going to Auburn. That is a huge one from Georgia Tech. Isaiah Horton.
We got an Auburn fan right now in the chat. Big SEC fan, big Auburn fan.
Coleman and Singleton, all right, those two guys. Now, Jackson Arnold, seems like he's been struggling in camp so far, but, man, they can be very explosive on the defense, offensive side of the football. Now, hey, defensive line here. Romello Height, Lee Hunter, Sky Gill Howard, Anthony Holmes. Guess what? They all go to Texas Tech. Is that not amazing, right? So they totally replenished their entire defensive line. Will Height, Purdue to Clemson. He's awesome because TJ Parker, Peter Woods, they were a loaded defensive line in-house. They add him to the edge now, opposite side of him. That is a dangerous defensive line that Clemson has built with just one addition to the transfer portal.
Yeah, I think you can build a team through the transfer portal, but you're going to build a culture with recruiting, right?
Yeah.
And that's the difference for me. When you look at when you look at the last two national champions, that's Michigan and Ohio State, what did they both have in common? They had guys who could potentially go to the NFL that decided to come back to college so that they could play for each other and win a championship. So those guys had more pride within the program. Those guys wanted to play for more than themselves. They came back because they wanted to win a championship for that program. So you're going to build a winning culture. You're going to build a dynasty, if you would say, when guys want to come back and play for more than themselves.
That's right.
So I think recruiting is really where you're going to be able to sustain that long-run success, to your question that you asked earlier. But if you're just trying to get a championship and figure things out really quickly and talk about that Band-Aid approach, you can do it through the transfer portal. But when things start to hit the fan, is everyone going to buy in and play for more than themselves, or are they going to be like, man, when's that transfer portal open back up so I could get out of here?
That's always a question.
It is, yeah.
And the one thing, just to kind of just kind of put the cherry on top of this conversation, the two teams that we just mentioned and the teams that we're going to be mentioning today for a national title contention, right? Trench, right? Offense, defensive line, legit depth, right? Game-changing type of football players in the trenches, right? Sprinkling a few athletes on the outside, and you got a championship contender.
Speaking of trenches, Texas is a team that a lot of people are high on this year, rightfully so. They have to replace quite a bit from their offensive line, but they have a new play caller back there, and if you haven't heard or if you've been living under a rock for the last 6 months, which actually sounds kind of nice, Arch Manning is the new quarterback over in Texas. Rubber's going to meet the road real fast. We're going to find out a lot about this Texas team and Arch Manning in week one when they go up to the shoe to take on the reigning national champions in Ohio State. Maddie, how much of Texas's season rides on Arch passing this first test? And by passing, I don't even know if I mean win. I mean, like, looking like he's confident back there behind.
He's going to look confident. I have total faith that Arch Manning is going to be able to live up to all the hype, right, that we were putting on this guy, which is pretty crazy considering how much hype he is getting. But when I watch the tape from last year, when I just see some of the things that have been said, too, from camp and all that, dude's got it. He does. He's a pro. And, like, there's nothing wrong with it. Listen, he does have an unbelievable advantage knowing that he has multiple people in his family that he can go to get some more experience and knowledge from. But what I like about him, though, too, and we discussed this last year, he's authentically himself, right? I mean, we saw him this offseason. You know, he's hanging out, like, doing, and he's just him, man. He really is. Now, the question I think I have, right, is just the skill group around him. C.J. Baxter is awesome. Quintravian Weiser is awesome. Can they run the football effectively, especially with Arch in the backfield with them, being that three-headed monster, right? DeAndre Moore, really good receiver for them. Wingo, does he come up and be a little bit more impressive as a playmaker for them? So for the offense side of football, I think schematically they're going to have tremendous advantages. Who is going to be the guy that kind of asserts himself as receiver one? Jack Andres, right? The transfer. I think he's going to be a huge impact in this offense too. Sark likes feeding the tight ends. So I think Arch is in a really good position to succeed well. And even if he stumbles a little bit early on, we know it's a marathon. It's not about the sprint anymore.
Yeah.
It's a marathon. If you lose one, it doesn't matter. It's how you bounce back the following week.
It's really 2 seasons, right, Scoob? Like,
right.
I mean, it's the regular season. Texas expected to make it to the playoff at least, and then it's like another season where you could see Arch take another step.
That's right.
Because of the extended college football playoff, there is room for error, and especially coming out of the gate, I think we got to give Arch Manning some grace over here and not say that the season is riding on his performance in that first game. And quite frankly, I think Sark is going to be a lot more
reserved.
Yes, exactly.
Conservative.
As week one and conservative. Let's run the ball. Let's play good defense. Let's protect him. Let's just have him make good decisions.
That's the key right there.
That's all that they have to do the first game. Make sure he doesn't get his confidence absolutely obliterated out of the gate, because understand he is going against the defending national champs, his first game out of the gate with all these expectations. So quite frankly, to me, if they lose the game, it's probably going to do him better, because I'm the type of person where you learn a lot through failure.
Absolutely.
And if he is to run into some problems here, he'll grow from it more. But hey, calm down, settle down with week one. This is a tough test.
Man, let's go. Let's go. I don't know what he's talking about. Let's air it out. Let's throw it 50 times. No, and let's remind everybody, too. It's the Texas defense that really might be the star of the show.
Yeah.
Right? We'll be going to talk about Arch a lot.
Defense.
Colin Simmons is one of the best defensive pass rushers in college football. Right? He's only going into his sophomore year, but you're going to hear this name a lot. Right? The other, they also added 2 transfers into the interior part of the defensive line. That'll be a huge impact too, just adding depth right to that D-line group. The other aspect, Anthony Hill Jr., middle linebacker. All right, this dude is an absolute beast. He is going to be an awesome game wrecker for them. Michael Taft, former walk-on. Now he's being projected as like a high-ranking guy that's going to be drafted high.
All-American.
And then, you know, we got Malik Muhammad too on the outside there as like one of the best cover corners in the country. So Texas has superstars at every single level, offensively and defensively. And now it's all about just can they gel and make it all work.
Chemistry.
A lot of familiar names, too. I mean, the players coming back on that defensive side, and a defense that was already tops in the country last year, that they could be even better this year. But regardless of what approach you take to building your roster, the quarterback spot is as crucial as it has ever been. So let's talk top quarterbacks going into 2025. And we will break this up into 2 different categories. We'll top 5 new quarterbacks and then top 5 returners. Maddie, you put together this list, so you already started with Arch Manning as your top new quarterback.
Arch has got to be number 1 really because of the OC, Sarkisian, right? I mean, he's the head coach, he's the OC, and he's going to build the entire offense around what makes Arch comfortable and what makes him successful, right? The question mark, I think the biggest thing, right, is just DeAndre Moore, Jack Andrews, right? What does the backfield look like, too, with Weiser and Baxter? So, but again, the defense is stacked. They're balanced on offense. They can do a little of everything. Julian Sayin. Man, talk about Julian Super Saiyan, all right, for Ohio State. Excited for him. You know what's lucky for him? He's got 2 of the best football players in the country on his football team. Caleb Downs at safety, and then Jeremiah Smith, who is arguably the best player in all of college football as his receiver. So I'm excited for him. He's a traditional drop-back quarterback. I really look forward to seeing this offense.
Something about me says that he can lose his job. It was a tough QB battle during camp.
Yeah, you know, and they kind of have to do that in today's like modern era as well, because you just, again, the portal, right? We don't want to lose guys to it, right? Ty Simpson, really excited to see this young man play, right? Waited his turn. We've seen so many people leave. He stays. He's a 3rd-year guy. Earned the spot right there in front of Keelan Russell, who is a very talented freshman quarterback. But Ty Simpson, awesome opportunity for him. Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton, Jeremy Bernard, right? He's got a great offensive line. And then also, too, Ryan Grubb. Ryan Grubb is a name I will say to you guys until I pass out, right? Because this dude is awesome. All right, Miller Moss, my boy.
I knew you were going L. I knew you were going Louisville here.
Hell yeah, we got to do that, right? But question marks at the quarterback position. I trust Jeff Brom and how he builds that offense. We also have to remember Isaac Brown, right? One of the best and most dynamic football players in the country at the running back position. Miller Moss, really a good decision maker. I expect him to do extremely well. Gunnar Stockton, really the only reason why he made this list, dog, right, is because of Kirby Smart.
Gunnar!
Right? That's the only reason why he made this list, because I have faith in Kirby Smart to manage the team, who is decimated in the draft again. On the defensive side, I still believe that Zachariah Branch will give just enough of a bolt. Nate Frazier coming back. Gunnar Stockton, tough dude, good leader. So I expect Kirby Smart to get it done, even though Gunnar isn't extremely talented as far as his measurables.
It'll help if Georgia's receivers can catch the ball this year. It'll help if they could run the ball this year. I think a lot of pressure was on.
Was on. Line is still spotty.
It is. It is. All right. So how about your top five returning starting quarterbacks that are poised to take their program to new heights?
Yes, I promise Brian, our producer, I will go faster in this list. Okay, Cade Klubnik. All right, one of the most improved players that we saw last year. Definitely exceeded all expectations from a year ago, but loaded. All right, Garrett Riley coming back as OC. Antonio Williams, right? Awesome. Bryant Wesco, a sophomore. This dude is phenomenal. One of the most underrated freshmen from a year ago, because we're talking about Jeremiah Smith all the time. The question mark, who's the running back? Is it Adam Randall, right? Is it Davidson, the freshman? Is it going to be a committee type of thing? But Cade Klubnik is amazing. Drew Allar, right? Now it's like, dude, I need to see you throw it to other than Tyler Warren.
Time's
right?
now.
What is it going to be? Trevor Pena is a phenomenal football player. Not super explosive, but a trusty football player. Devontae Ross from Troy, Kyron Hudson from USC, now in the mix. And then, of course, yes, the number 1 and number 2, maybe potentially best running back duo in the country with Singleton and Allen, right? The other guy, Sam Leavitt. Can they keep it going? Kenny Dillingham and the boys. Jordan Tyson, phenomenal receiver, maybe a top 5 receiver in the entire country. Actually, not maybe. He is a top 5
People
receiver.
forget he was injured a little bit last year.
He was injured.
So
I expect Sam Leavitt to have a fantastic year. Another guy on the list that maybe is a little bit of a surprise, Kevin Jennings. Now, it's not like, hey, he's not the sexy name out there for everybody else, but one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the entire country last year, right? And I think a lot of us have that mind still of seeing him in Penn State. Hey, he's not a cold weather guy. It's a fact.
All those turnovers.
But still, he is a good decision maker. He can make plays. He makes plays out of structure. Kevin Jennings is going to be a really good football player again.
I'm surprised you have this guy at number 5, Matt, to be honest.
I have this guy at number 5 because, honestly, I'm just not really sure how it's all going to blend together. He's a gunslinger, no doubt, Garrett Nussmeier, right? I trust him. He is a little, word of the day for you, frivolous with the football at times.
Erratic,
right?
12 interceptions last year.
So that's a little bit of a concern for me, right? He's coming into the season a little banged up too. And I'm just kind of curious, can they run the ball efficiently? Can they win shootout after shootout? LSU's secondary was god-awful last year, right? Can they improve a little bit on defense to take some pressure off of Garrett Nussmeier in this offense?
Second year of Blake Baker, coaching up that defense. They should be better with their personnel there. Texas, we know they're going to be pretty good with Arch Manning there. The hype is real. We cannot wait to watch it all season long with you.
What are your expectations for Arch?
The absolute roof.
Steve Sarkisian today, you won't hear the stadium any louder than when he takes the field.
Arch Manning, the highly heralded recruit with the famous surname in the ballgame, now fires complete.
Touchdown, Texas. Manning with time. Lets it fly again. Why not?
Oh, look at Arch Manning. Oh, hit him with the two-step.
And Tom, under pressure, taking a hit, that ball right there, knows he's going to have man coverage on the slot fade.
Manning, pressure again. Lobbed up and hauled in! And Arch Manning has entered the chat.
I'm just worried about playing ball and winning games.
Time now for the Playbook, presented by Modelo. Man, did I miss saying that. And did I miss having our quarterback, Matt Sims, back here at the touchscreen to break down some more plays. And who else to start with than Arch Manning, right? I mean,
yes, sir.
The man has started 2 games in college. He is the favorite to win the Heisman. Can you show us what some defenses might expect going up against him this year?
I absolutely would love to show you what is going to be the problem with defending Arch Manning in this high-powered offense, right? Arch Manning, of course, we know the pedigree and all the background, but his greatest advantage, right, not only just his physical skill sets, but the fantastic coach that'll be leading him right in this charge.
Yep.
When we see this situation right here, this is a close football game against Mississippi State. They motion out the running back to an empty set. They put their freshman quarterback in a situation where it is empty. We're putting him in a tough situation, and still this guy responds. We get a cover zero look straight across the board here. So everyone is man up on these 5 receivers. Everyone else is blitzing and pressuring the quarterback. And what I love about this whole thing, right, the offensive line takes care of the most dangerous defenders. Who are that? The people that are in the interior part of that offensive line. We let the widest guy go free, giving our quarterback as much time as possible in this critical situation. The concept on the outside is pretty simple. It's a little hitch right on the outside, and then it's 2 goes right here. And then Arch has to make that really good, quick decision of knowing he's about to be hit, deliver the football on time. And that's what's so beautiful about this rep right here. He has to fight every single natural instinct as being a human being in the world, right? Knowing he's about to get hit. He takes that hit right to the rib cage, but delivers an absolute dime right into the bucket there to DeAndre Moore for a huge play right before halftime. Changed the whole outcome of this football game and just how it was viewed, too, for the Texas fans at home. Here we are. There it is. He sees that the peripheral vision. Great job by the Texas offensive line to taking care of business on the interior part of it, muddying everything up in that cover zero look. And then great job winding up, step, turn, and throw in rhythm right there, drop it in the bucket. Beautiful throw right there by the Texas Longhorns and Arch Manning, their new quarterback.
I was telling you exactly. That's reason number 8,000 I was not a quarterback.
That's right.
I did not want to get hit whatsoever. Mississippi State ranked 125th in total defense last year. There's going to be stiffer competition. But he also provides a different threat than his predecessor did, which is the ability to run the ball. And this is a nice RPO here.
Absolutely. And look at this guy. Look at this guy.
I studied the offseason.
He's got the words down and everything.
I got a good teacher.
Yeah. Now, here, with this situation, we're loading up the box. This year, Quintravian Weiser, right? C.J. Baxter. Those are the 2 guys that are going to be running the football. But you're right. Arch Manning is also a part of that 3-headed monster in the backfield. So we get an obvious situation here where we're trying to sell that we're running it, right? They got an unbalanced front here, right? And when we go with this look, we are trying to load up the box to stop them defensively. On the outside, we have man coverage, right? One-on-one on the outside. A simple concept, right, for the Texas Longhorns offense here. We're going to get a little wide and fade right here by the number 2 guy. We see this all the time versus man coverage in college football. And we get that one-step now route, which is a quick slant. Arch Manning is looking at the box and he is counting numbers. If he likes these one-on-one matchups, he has the ability to pull the football and deliver the football in time and in rhythm for a quick hitter. And that's exactly what he does here. In this situation, they do a great job of muddying everything up to stop the run. That's great. Now we have a one-on-one with our star receiver in the slot there, running a fade. And again, Arch, good rhythm, good step, turn, and throw. Nice height in the football. It gets up and down quickly to that back corner. And this is that magical space right there that every quarterback is aiming for in the back corner. About that 4x4 square in that back corner. He delivers it on time and in rhythm. Another fantastic throw, taking advantage again of the look that the defense gives them. They have the plan to deliver it, whether it's run or pass there.
The intangibles are there, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
but again, the other dimension that he adds, this is no knock on Quinn Ewers, but the ability to, this is another football term, manipulate the pocket, right?
Right.
And that's what you kind of see here.
Well, I think for Sark, this is where a lot of exciting things are going to happen for him, right? Because, hey, Quinn Ewers, he's an NFL quarterback.
Yep.
He was a really good football player, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the history of Texas football. There's no doubt about that. The trouble with this conversation is that this guy is a little bit more athletic, right? He's got some speed, he's got some wheels, he's got a strong arm, high football IQ, makes really good decisions. And even though there were some times where he had some speed bumps when he played last year, still made a lot of really good decisions, and you can see why we're building up the hype. So we're going to get a motion here right before the snap across the ball, right? We're going to get a quick flat, a corner route, and then an over, and then basically like a clear out post here, right? So basically what we're doing with this concept is we're saying high to low, right, to the over, all right? We're going to fake it inside zone. The defensive end's going to collapse here. We're going to get outside the pocket. We're going to allow our young quarterback to really see the field and to get, again, an open space using his legs as a weapon for us, which is where we're going to see a lot. And right here, this is what's difficult for defenses. We're trying to stop the run. We overplay that. And now we're out of position with the play action pass boot here concept. Corners covered. Flat is outflanked. Great job. Look at the low cross here coming up wide open, right? under the backer, right, working that open space for an easy touchdown there for the young quarterback. And again, you just see the calm and cool, collected composure by the young QB. Great job throwing the football as someone, again, is about to attack him. Really good completion there. These are a few of the concepts that we'll see continuously, I think, for this offense. Moving the pocket, utilizing Arch's athleticism, getting him out in space, and allowing him to really be just that cerebral quarterback. I think for Sark, I was fortunate enough to be with him in Atlanta with the Falcons. We're going to see a lot of plays, I think, where Arch is going to have the ability to check at the line of scrimmage and get them in the proper play, very much like we saw with Peyton Manning in his career.
Expectations, an all-time high. Hype is at an all-time high,
Yes,
and rightfully so. And he's going to get put to the test really quick against Ohio State. And speaking of Ohio State, there can only be one winner at the end of the year. And last year, it was the Ohio State Buckeyes, thanks in large part to their freshman phenom wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith. He's back for more.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Man, zone, no matter what they tried to do to you, nothing worked. Anybody stop you?
Downfield shot on first down for the end zone. Touchdown, Ohio State strikes first. Roaming free, breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly from 45 yards.
It's going to be a fade to the corner, though, to Smith. Oh, he one-handed it again. How many times is this kid going to do this year?
Making the catch is Smith. That way, launching downfield. Catch made. He cannot be stopped.
Indeed. Man there, Jeremiah Smith.
And the freshman just launches in. He's got it. Catch made. Touchdown end zone. Smith, his second tonight. Hard looking to launch. Right down the middle. Smith is wide open. Too easy.
Anybody stop you? No.
Ohio State's going to be really good once again this year. Of course, he is a big reason why the Buckeyes open at number 3 in the AP poll. Despite losing 14 players to the draft, they lost 16 starters. Texas opening at number 1 for the first time in program history, but they hardly have a mandate. They edged out Penn State for the top spot by just 5 points. It was the closest vote since 1998. SEC leads all conferences with 10 teams in the top 25. Don't get too comfortable. If history has kind of taught us anything, guys, it is that this is going to look a whole heck of a lot different as we get to November, December. So the AP top 25, we've got a couple facts here. 3 teams historically in the last 5 non-COVID years, 3 teams will stay in the top 5. 3 teams in the top 12 will finish unranked. 6 teams will improve their preseason ranking. 7 teams will stay in the top 12, which means there's a couple that will not. The challenge becomes trying to pick what it will actually look like come season's end. Worth noting as well as we go along throughout this is we're going to get a look at this is familiar to many of you with the 12-team playoff. We still do have a 12-team playoff, guys.
We haven't even started and we've already got the bracket out.
We got the bracket up. We still have a 12-team playoff, but the seeding has changed this year, and I think for the better, as we were talking about it all last year in Rankings Reaction. It will go to a straight seeding. So in other words, the committee's top 4 teams will get those first buys. It will no longer go guaranteed to your top 4 highest ranked conference champions. So just wanted to get that out there. But what we're going to do here, guys, on this preview show is we're going to try and pick what it will look like come December. So this is just the top 12 as it stands right now.
Yeah.
So based on some of the facts, let's stick with one because there was a lot there. 7 teams will stay in the top 12. In other words, we got to take out some teams. So let's start by who you maybe don't have a ton of confidence in, and we'll take them out and substitute them.
My first harpoon is going to those guys right there.
Georgia?
I'm not really sure. I got to see it to believe it. Gunnar Stockton, yeah, I'm excited about the young guy, no doubt, right? Still question marks about how they're going to be explosive, right, as an offense. Still struggling to find just consistency in the offensive line right now. Defense, been decimated by the NFL draft the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I believe in Kirby Smart. I think they'll be able to manage it and kind of survive, but I do think this could be a tough year for Georgia to keep up with what we see as Georgia.
So you got them out of the playoff altogether?
I do, yes.
A lot of home games this year. They had to go
You're right. They
a lot.
don't have to travel anywhere.
No.
So whoever's scheduling them is doing a fantastic job because they stay on the Eastern Seaboard for essentially the whole time.
Because last year they played
got
so many away games.
But Georgia, big question mark. You know, I'm excited to see Gunnar, but I'm just not quite sure if they got enough, right, to compete against some of these other teams.
So for the sake of the exercise, let's replace Georgia with a different team.
Yeah, so who do you like, Maddie?
Okay.
That just automatically did it. I don't know if you like that a lot.
No, I don't like that this year. Last year, I would have been like, hell yeah.
Okay.
This year, give me Texas Tech as this year's Indiana.
Okay.
Texas Tech. Now, a big thing is Baron Morton. He's got to play better than what he did a year ago. Look, the system's not even allowing that. They're like, it's a glitch. We've never had Texas Tech in the playoff before.
All
right?
We're struggling here.
But still, I believe that Texas Tech has all the dudes that they need on the defense side.
Yep.
We highlighted all the guys that they add in the transfer report on the defensive line.
A lot of money.
Now, the secondary, kind of a question mark. Can they gel a little bit better? Baron Morton's a really talented quarterback. He has NFL traits. When you watch some of his film, you're like, wow, you're really impressed. He also does some things, too, where he needs to clean it up. So Texas Tech, to me, is like kind of one of those dark horse picks that I'm throwing into the mix right now.
All right, so that's one team that we got out of the top 12 so far. So we said that there's typically been 5 teams that were in the top 12 to start the season that end up getting out. So the next team that we can look at over here for me personally is Miami. I see that as a team that will let's go ahead and replace that correctly. I see Miami as a team that will more than likely not make the college football playoff. So we replace Miami with who?
Oh, you can't do that. You gotta come with something, man.
I knew you guys were gonna come with something. So I was going to let the group decide, but I think SMU is a team that gets back in the college football playoff. Kevin Jennings, I think the way that he led that team last year, the way that offense is, and yes, we saw the mistakes that he made against Penn State that you said earlier on in the show, but they have built something there. SMU getting into the ACC and making the college football playoff in the first year was something that nobody expected. Now that they've established some culture and confidence, I believe they have another opportunity to get in there. And the ACC isn't necessarily going to be a dog walk, right? So I think they'll be able to get in the college football playoff.
My turn to pick?
Yeah, go ahead, of course,
Arizona State was the Cinderella last year, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of took everyone's heart in the Big 12. It was such a great story.
Right.
Sam Levitt's great. You're missing Cam Skadden. Let's not pretend that he's going to come back through those doors. But I think there's another Big 12 team that we are kind of forgetting about.
Okay.
And that would be the Utah Utes.
Oh, okay. All right, because I thought maybe you would go with Kansas State here in this situation.
Well, you know why? Because I picked Utah last year in our preseason.
That's 3 teams so far. 3 teams we got up.
I got screwed the whole year because they just couldn't stay healthy. Devin Dampier, I mean, this is going to be an exciting guy to watch coming over. Dual threat guy. I think he rushed for over like 1,000 yards last year. So, and let's not forget that Kyle Whittingham is still there too. Like, this is a very well-coached
Last
team.
year, it's not like we're starting a new pattern, right? We know that he is a hell of a coach, and they're going to get back on track. It's still one of the toughest places to play in the country. They're going to have probably a top 15 defense again. They're going to be able to stop the run. They're going to be able to hit the quarterback. They're going to be able to cause a lot of damage on the defense side of the football. But you're right. It's kind of all about, can the quarterback just be decent enough to be consistent? Because last year, it seemed like everybody was trying to play quarterback for Utah.
I think he fits the system a little bit better than maybe what they had last year in the whole Cam Rising situation. It just didn't ever come to fruition.
Yeah.
Anybody in the top 4? Now, this is going to be really bold, but real quick, anybody in the top 4 that you think might get pushed back? Maybe still in the playoff, but maybe not getting a bye?
I guess one that kind of comes to mind, right, is Ohio State, just a little bit, right? And
that's a great point.
It's really just about young quarterback Julian Sayin, and just is he going to be able to
with Notre Dame?
Is he going to be able to operate, right? Because we got to remember too, one of the best parts about what Ohio State did last year was that they were able to control the tempo of football games, and Will Howard just needed to manage it enough, right, to get wins, right? They really. Of course, Jeremiah Smith is amazing. Carnell Tate is a fantastic receiver to go along with him, right? And this as well. But you are missing Travion Henderson and Quinshawn Junkins. So I think that's a big concern for a young quarterback, right? Not having just unbelievable running back room to lean into. So I think Ohio State might have a few hiccups this year.
I'm so glad you did this, because last year you couldn't do that.
With CJ Carr, right? But won the battle here.
But they can get a bye this year. Remember? And last year, 4 highest ranked conference champions.
Yes.
Right.
So their highest hope was being number 5. You could see Notre Dame getting a bye now. So that's interesting.
All right, one more change before we get out of here.
Yeah.
What do you think we got?
Well, this is on average, so I mean, you could get 4 out. It could stay, but
No to LSU. I think LSU's out. Because I just I got to see your defense play better first, right? That's the biggest question mark I have.
Nussmeier is a little careless with the football. All right.
That's where I'm not sure. Now, listen, one team that I'm really excited for this whole year, I'm really pumped to watch this football team play. And it's crazy for me to say this because I am a Tennessee Vol, okay?
Are you sure?
The Florida Gators.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what DJ Lagway does. Ball at running back is going to be a dog. That's what things. Billy Napier likes running the football, so Ball is going to get his carries. DJ Lagway, can he improve on the short and intermediate passes? Dallas Wilson, I don't know if you saw this dude in the spring game, freshman.
Yeah.
Dude's a baller, all right? He's going to be a problem. Trey Wilson to go along with him. Another guy. Sturdivant, another guy that can stretch the defense down the field. Florida, if they can play a little bit better in the secondary, very similar to LSU, if they can play a little bit better, damn, they're going to be a really good football team this year.
Wow.
But crazy schedule. Crazy schedule.
That's the thing about them.
So this is what we're going with. We'll see how wrong we are when the official bracket comes out.
This is hella wrong, but it's okay. Yeah.
That's what we do.
We gave it our best shot. We gave it our best shot.
Hey, this is my team this year right here, though. This team, Clemson, man, I'm just telling you. It's their time. Dabo is going to be back. All right, get ready.
You and Greg McElroy, man, both of you guys.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He was
Maybe
high
I should switch that then.
So we are all excited for college football to come back. I know you guys at home are as well.
Yeah.
So too is Lee Corso. Not so fast, my friend. A Lee Corso special premieres Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. Here's a sneak peek.
Coach Corso is a maestro of the crowd. He can take them on a ride like not many people in the history of television can.
Celebrities absolutely love Coach Corso.
I love you.
That dog is ugly.
I think Coach is the ultimate mascot of college football.
Purple cow. Go Navy.
Lee Corso, life of the party.
This is my school.
Lee Corso had suffered a stroke. He was determined to just not skip a beat.
Not so fast.
Not so fast. Not so fast.
Not so fast.
Not so fast, my friend.
How awesome is that? Following the Herbies, ESPN will feature a 1-hour special, Not So Fast, my friend, a Lee Corso special before legendary broadcaster Lee Corso. Final College Game Day show, August 30th. The primetime special will highlight Corso's extraordinary life, his larger-than-life personality, and his immeasurable impact that he had on college football as a player, really as a coach, and of course as a TV broadcaster. He transcended the sport. So
he really did, man. Ahead of his time and just well-desered, man.
Yeah.
Well-deserved. Awesome guy.
Really excited to see them in every College Game Day get back out on the road. Let's get you caught up with what we believe is our top 5 games for Week 1. And let's start with Auburn and Baylor. This is coming at the number 5 spot.
Yeah.
You're talking about 2 teams and really 2 coaches that are swimming in some hot water right now, starting the season on rank. I think both sides have high potential, high ceilings this year, but they also have some low floors.
Yeah, well, we talked about, too, just Auburn having a lot of talent on the offense side of the football. What happens at the quarterback position with Jackson Arnold? How does that look?
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze, 11-14 right now in his career at Auburn.
That's a problem.
That's not too freaking good,
That's
man.
a problem.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then the other side, Falk, their defensive end. Absolute game wrecker. So both teams, I feel like, very similar identities that are trying to kind of get to that next level of their programs and be a little bit more consistent in contending later into the year.
Yeah, with the Auburn Tigers, a lot of the joke was during the season was how much golf Hugh Freeze is playing instead of actually coaching the football
That
team.
handicap looked real good.
That
looked
better
really
too.
good.
But there's a lot of pressure at Auburn, man. That is a fan base that is passionate about their team, and they haven't been winning games. So
4 years in a row losing records. Like,
this
you don't
first
say
one
that.
here against Baylor, these are 2 teams. This is the reason why we're so excited for this game. 2 teams that have 2 coaches who are essentially on the hot seat. I think Baylor ended the season a little bit better than we had felt, but this is a matchup where these 2 guys are going to be going head-to-head trying to win over their fan base.
Toilet paper has been stocked on the shelves for a while. They haven't gotten to throw it a ton over there on Toomer's Corner. All right, number 4, Alabama at Florida State. This game is incredibly interesting in Week 1. At 3:30 Eastern Time, ABC next Saturday.
Can't wait for this one.
Both teams breaking in new starting quarterbacks. There's also a little bit of revenge on the line here. Remember, 2 years ago, Alabama got the call instead of an undefeated Florida State team, so they could exact some revenge. Florida State is just looking to kind of recover from a dismal season last year. Is Tommy Castellano the answer? I don't know, but he reunites as well with a former offensive coordinator that actually initially recruited him at UCF.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I do believe in Tommy Castellano. Still get it done. Okay. All right. With some fresh mutts on the side. All right. But I really do think this is going to be the first glimpse that we have of Alabama getting back to being Alabama. And I was talking about this even before we started the show. I really do think Kalen DeBoer and the Ryan Grubb combination is really going to be super powerful. for their offense and really for their football team. The defense is absolutely loaded in every single level. So I do believe Alabama is going to be able to show off a little bit here to start the season with their new young quarterback.
All right, on to number 3. Scoob, come to you on this one. Notre Dame and Miami. This is one of the game's oldest rivalries, and a lot on the line here early in week 1 for both these teams.
Yeah, it is going to be tough for Notre Dame the first 2 games of the season, because you got to think that they just got C.J. Carr. They had this QB battle going on in camp. It took them dang near till this week to decide on which quarterback is going to be under center. And then it's Carson Beck. Yes, that defense is going to be good, but those weapons, every single weapon that was thrown to last season is essentially gone or in the NFL.
Sure.
So he's working with guys he's never worked before. This is a new offense for him. There's a lot of changes that are happening in that Miami offense. So to see these two offenses go head-to-head, both got good defenses. I think both of these teams have something to prove, especially Miami, because they weren't able to accomplish their goals.
Can you believe Miami hasn't won an ACC conference title since they joined the conference in 2004?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's 20 years. I mean, this is Miami.
I think Carson Beck is, of course, I'm excited for his opportunity, but I also think that he's walking into one of the most difficult situations you can imagine, because Cam Ward was just that special a year ago.
Yeah.
Now, C.J. Carr, good thing for him. He's got Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price in the backfield with him.
That helps.
Right? So that absolutely helps, right? A young quarterback feel a little bit more comfortable. So I think I give a slight edge there to Notre Dame to start the season.
Okay, number 2 top game in week 1. The battle of the real Death Valley.
Let's go.
We saw Brian Kelly kind of sunning Clemson a little bit. He was like Death Valley Jr., so we're going to find out who actually is the real Death Valley in this one. But, I mean, there's a lot of pressure. Both these teams, playoff aspirations, national championship aspirations. LSU hasn't won an opener in a little while, really, since Brian Kelly has been there. So they go on the road in an incredibly tough environment against a team that you, Maddie, are incredibly high on in Clemson.
Very high on Clemson, and I think, again, because they got dogs at every – well, they got cats. They got tiger cats at every single level. And really, it starts with that guy right there, Cade Klubnik. All right, he is the best quarterback in the nation this year going into the year. I expect him to be in that Heisman Trophy race. Absolutely. The offense goes through him. We have question marks about the running back room, but he's got a plethora of athletes surrounding him to create big plays. Riley and him have a great relationship. So I expect Clemson to start out with a big win over LSU.
Yeah, I think Clemson's the best team in the country to start the season, just because of how many people they brought back, the most production in the entire country. And Dabo said it on SportsCenter the other day. He was like, man, Google it. You'll see who the real
he brought out the Google it.
Google. All you need to do is Google, and you'll see that Clemson is currently the real
LSU just lost Will Campbell to the NFL draft, and Parker and Woods are coming to town, and they are really good pass rushers, and I expect them to cause a lot of havoc for Garrett Nussmeier.
Not much needs to be said about number 1, Texas and Ohio State. I will just leave the floor to you guys.
Man, what's there to say, right? I mean, it's just – first of all, that slate, all 5 games right there.
Tremendous.
I love it. I mean, there's just so many great franchises there that are a part of franchises. Look at me, right?
They might as well be that way.
You know, we might as well, right? But just, I can't wait for Texas, right, in this situation, right? I'm excited for Arch Manning. Of course, my brother played at Texas, so of course I got a soft spot in my heart for the Texas Longhorns. And then for Ohio State, just how do they live up to what they did a year ago with their young quarterback now and still having the best player on offense and defense still on their roster?
I'm excited to see Jeremiah Smith.
No doubt.
Everyone keeps talking about how big he is. He looks like an NFL wide receiver, not your prototypical NFL wide receiver.
Yeah.
He looks like your Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson type of NFL receiver, and he's only a sophomore.
I know.
Kid was 18 years old last year, and now he's become the star of college football. And then obviously Arch Manning on that other side of the ball. I think he's going to use his leg a lot, some QB run. It's really going to be a great matchup that we're all keeping our eyes on, and we're excited for this college football season with week 1 having the best top 5 games. But
definitely,
all of us had an incredible summer, guys.
Yeah.
And one thing about this summer that was the best thing to see was this man here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Jacqueline Jean, JJ, welcome to the family. I'll tell you what, I had no idea how many diapers we'd be going through. I had no idea.
I tried to tell you,
Sam.
Sam.
I actually did have an idea how many sleepless nights we were going to have, but the biggest blessing to our family, my wife Hannah is doing tremendously. Wow, we even photoshopped JJ.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
We can get a real one.
Some suspect ball carriage right there. All right? I mean, gee.
That man had no
your
idea
hair
what
was really
coming.
long there, too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
My hair is
We had to
longer,
get it.
too.
You
Hey,
too.
what happened?
Yeah. That away, boys. That away.
crazy
Way to
what a
clean it
year
up
will
for
do
the
to you.
season.
Oh, man. All right, well, they're kicking us out of the studio. I appreciate that, production guys.
Congratulations,
together.
though.
Thank
to you and Hannah. Congrats.
It's great to have teammates around, too.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. This franchise will be back every Saturday,
Yes, sir.
11 p.m. Eastern Time, going into this year on ESPN's College Football YouTube page. So tune in there. You can always watch it the very next day as well. So that's going to do it for us. We can't wait. College football is back, everybody.
Let's go.
College football is back. Thank you so much for watching the College Football Preview Show. Again, we'll see you next Saturday.
See ya. Toodles.